Two of the most powerful naval forces ever assembled fought for 4 days in the same stretch of ocean, killed thousands of men between them, and not a single sailor on either side ever laid eyes on an enemy ship. Picture the horizon from the deck of a warship in May 1942, flat, blue, empty in every direction. Now understand that somewhere beyond that horizon, perhaps 60 miles away, perhaps 120, an enemy fleet just as powerful as your own is doing exactly what you are doing, staring at an equally empty horizon, waiting for word from aircraft that have not yet returned. This is what naval warfare became in May 1942, and almost nobody who fought it had trained for it. Japan needed Port Moresby. The town sat on the southern coast of New Guinea, and capturing it would put Japanese bombers within range of northern Australia and secure Japan's defensive perimeter across the South Pacific. The invasion force assigned to take it was substantial: troop transports, escort vessels, and 2 fleet carriers, Shokaku and Zuikaku, sent to provide air cover and destroy any American naval response. American codebreakers had been reading enough of Japan's naval communications to know an operation was coming, though not every detail of it. Admiral Chester Nimitz sent 2 carriers of his own, USS Lexington and USS Yorktown, into the Coral Sea to intercept. 4 carriers, roughly 250 aircraft between them, thousands of sailors and airmen on both sides, none of whom would ever see the other side's ships. For 3 days, both fleets hunted each other through search patterns flown by scout aircraft, racing against weather, fuel limits, and the simple physics of finding a moving target across thousands of square miles of open ocean. Mistakes happened in both directions, the way mistakes happen when human pilots are squinting at empty water from cockpits at extreme range. American aircraft on May 7th located and sank a Japanese light carrier, the Shoho, in an attack so swift and overwhelming that the pilot who radioed the news back to the fleet used 5 words that became instantly famous in the Pacific Fleet: "Scratch one flat top." That same day, in the opposite direction, Japanese pilots found and sank 2 American support vessels they mistook for capital ships, a tanker and a destroyer, destroyed in an attack the pilots reported back as having struck a carrier and a cruiser. Both sides were fighting confidently against an enemy whose actual main force neither had yet located. May 8th brought the battle that mattered. Scout planes from both fleets finally found their targets within roughly an hour of each other that morning. What followed was not a single engagement, but 2 simultaneous mirror image attacks unfolding hundreds of miles apart. American dive bombers and torpedo planes descending on Shokaku and Zuikaku, while Japanese aircraft, launched almost in parallel, found Lexington and Yorktown. Shokaku took multiple bomb hits and was forced out of the battle, badly damaged, streaming smoke as she withdrew. Yorktown took a bomb that punched through her flight deck and detonated below, killing dozens of men but leaving the ship capable of continuing to operate aircraft. Lexington took 2 torpedo hits and 2 bomb hits within minutes, fires breaking out across multiple decks. Her crew fought those fires for hours and seemed for a time to have saved her. Then aviation fuel vapor trapped in her below-decks compartments found an ignition source. The explosion that followed tore through Lexington's hull with a force that crews on other ships, miles away, felt through the water itself. She burned through the afternoon and into the evening before her captain gave the order to abandon ship. Destroyers pulled survivors from the water as the great carrier rolled and finally went down, taking 216 of her crew with her. By any conventional scorecard, Japan won the Battle of the Coral Sea. They sank a fleet carrier and damaged another. America sank only the light carrier Shoho. Japanese losses in aircraft and trained pilots were smaller than American losses, but the invasion fleet bound for Port Moresby turned back. Without the air cover Shokaku and Zuikaku were supposed to provide, 1 damaged, the other needing weeks to replace lost aircrews, the Japanese commanders called off the invasion. It was the first time since the war began that a Japanese advance had been stopped. The deeper cost revealed itself a month later. Shokaku's battle damage and Zuikaku's depleted air group meant neither carrier was available when Japan launched its next major operation, the assault on Midway Atoll in June 1942, intended to be the decisive battle that would destroy America's remaining carrier strength once and for all. Japan went into Midway with 4 carriers instead of 6. America, despite Lexington's loss, brought Yorktown back from Coral Sea, patched together by emergency repair crews working around the clock in Pearl Harbor, restored to operational condition in roughly 72 hours, when Japanese intelligence assumed she would need months. 3 American carriers met 4 Japanese carriers at Midway instead of 3 meeting 6. The battle that turned the entire Pacific War in America's favor was made possible, in part, by 2 ships that fought each other for 4 days in May, without either fleet's lookouts ever spotting the other's hull on the horizon.